my dear students, welcome to Teacher at Home. Today class we are going to learn the 8th chapter, Election and Democracy. First voter Negi to booth again today. Kinnar. The Kalpa polling booth in Kinnar of Himachal Pradesh is waiting for a VIP voter, the 97-year-old Shyam Sharan Negi. The vote he cast on 25th October 1951 is the first vote in independent India. The first election in independent India was held in 1952. However, in Kinnar, a place 2,759 meters above sea level and where snow falls continuously, the government decided to hold elections 6 months earlier. Thus, Negi became the first to cast his vote, and that became a part of the history. We were all excited when we got independence. I felt unlimited happiness and pride when I came out of the booth after casting my vote, says Shyam Sharan Negi. Since then, he executed his vote in 27 elections held thereafter. He is determined not to waste his right to vote even in his election. He is a propaganda ambassador for the 2014 Lok Sabha election. He tells the youth of India, don't abstain from casting your vote. It is our duty towards the nation. Above given news report contained the message of Free India's first voter Shyam Sharan Negi to the voters of India. Importance of voting is clear from Negi's words. In democratic nations, elections are held at regular intervals. Election is the method by which representatives of the people are elected in a democratic system. Without election, democratic system will not exist. Examine the importance of election in a democratic system. Election reflect the aspirations of the people. People can select the rulers of their choice through elections. People can participate and respond in democratic process. Election is a good reason for the rulers to act according to the aspirations of people. You have understood the importance of election in democracy. Majority of nations in the world have adopted a democratic form of government. However, the method of election in this country differ from one another. Some countries follow direct election, while in some others it is indirect election. Observe the method of election adopted to various representative institutions of India in the chart given below. Direct, Lok Sabha, State Legislative Assembly, Local Self-Government. Indirect, President, Vice President, Rajya Sabha. In India, voters cast their vote through the secret ballot. Thus, the voter is capable to cast his or vote maintaining confidentiality. The voter marks his vote against the name of the candidate of his choice in the ballot paper. How do we elect our representatives to the Lok Sabha, State Legislative Assembly and local self-government institutions? People directly elect their representatives. This method is called the direct election. But do the people directly participate in the election of the President, Vice President and members of the Rajya Sabha? Elected representatives of people elect them. Method of election in which representatives are chosen by the elected representatives of people is indirect election. Direct election, class representative, panchayat member, school chairman, panchayat president. Simple majority system. We are familiar with direct and indirect method of election. We have adopted simple majority system for election to Lok Sabha, state legislative assemblies and local self-government institutions. According to this system, elections are held in the following manner. The country is divided into various electoral districts known as constituencies. One representative is elected from one constituency. Any number of candidates can contest. Candidate who gets the highest number of votes is elected. Simple majority system is simple and easy to manage. So majority of the democratic nations in the world have adopted simple majority system. Proportional representation. In India, proportional representation is adopted to elect the President, Vice President and members of the Rajya Sabha where we follow indirect election. In India, MLAs of State Legislative Assembly from each state elect members of the Rajya Sabha. In proportion to a strength in the State Legislative Assembly, at each political party can elect representative to Rajya Sabha. Constituencies. The map of Lok Sabha constituencies of Kerala, Manjeshwaram Assembly constituency of Kasaragod district is given. Do MPs elect from the state to the Lok Sabha and MLAs elected to the State Legislative Assembly represent the same constituency? They represent different constituencies. To elect people's representatives, the states and union territories are divided into small geographical areas. These geographical areas are constituencies. Each constituency has almost equal number of population. In proportion to the population, our country has been divided into 543 constituencies for the Lok Sabha election, one representative elected from each constituency. Similarly, each state has assembly constituency in proportion to the population. At present, Kerala has 20 Lok Sabha constituencies and 140 assembly constituencies. Reserved constituencies. There is a possibility of some powerful and dominating group winning in all constituencies in the simple majority system. Shouldn't we ensure the representation of the weak and the oppressed section of the society also in the Lok Sabha and the state assemblies? The principle of reserved constituencies has been introduced by the makers of our constitution to ensure the representation of such groups. Accordingly, seats had been reserved in Lok Sabha and state assemblies for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in proportion to the population. Only those belong to the reserved category can contest in elections from the reserved constituencies. However, people belonging to various categories can cast their votes. At present, 84 seats are reserved for the scheduled caste and 47 seats for the scheduled tribe in Lok Sabha. Free and fair election. A free and fair election system of election is essential to make elections impartial and transparent. To fulfill this vision, provisions like universal adult franchise, right to contest in elections, independent election commission, etc. have been included in the constitution. Universal adult franchise. Election notification regarding Sri Moolam People's Assembly Praja Sabha 1905. People assembled eligible to vote in the People's Assembly of Sri Moolam. Have you read the notification given above? What are the indications you get about the right to vote to the Sri Moolam Praja Sabha of Travancore? Now you know aware about the criteria for the right to vote in Travancore. What is the present criteria to right to vote? Observe the picture. The voters of the country were waiting in queue to cast their vote. The right to elect the representatives is the right to vote. Those who elect their representatives are called electors. The right to vote is the most effective method to ensure a citizen's participation in a democratic system. The right of all adult citizens to vote irrespective of caste, religion, race, language, sex, place of birth, etc. is universal adult franchise. In India, everyone who has attained 18 years of age has the right to vote. Universal adult franchise came into effect with the introduction of Constitution of India on 26th January 1950. Article 326 of the Constitution referred to the universal adult franchise. Minimum age for the right to vote was 21 years till 1989. The 61st Amendment of the Constitution reducing the vote age from 21 to 18. How an Indian citizen can be enrolled in voters list. Complete 18 years of age on January 1st. Settle in a constituency of at least 6 months. Give application in form number 6A. Since the first general election, several changes have taken place in voting. The first two elections, separate ballot boxes displacing the name, symbol of each candidate were arranged in the polling booth. The voters have to drop the blank ballot paper in the box earmarked for his or her preferred candidate. The method of giving ballot papers with the names and symbols of the candidates was started after the second general election. As per this method, every voter has to cast his vote in the ballot paper and put it in a common ballot box. Towards the end of 1990s, the Election Commission introduced electronic voting machine in India as an experimental basis. EVM was used first time in Kerala. Today, EVM are used all over India. The right to contest in election. Every citizen has the right to contest the elections and become a representative of the people. As per the Representation of the People's Act, every Indian citizen whose name is enrolled in the electoral roll has the right to contest elections if not disqualified otherwise. Minimum age has been fixed for contesting elections. Observe the following showing the age limit for contesting different elections. Election, the President 35 years, Vice President 35 years, Member of Rajya Sabha 30, Member of Lok Sabha 25 years, Member of State Legislative Assembly 25 years, Member of Panchayat 21 years, Councillor of Municipality 21 years. Independent Election Commission. Democracy to be effective, election should be independent and impartial. To make it possible, there should be an independent body. The Constitution of India has constituted an independent election commission. At present, the Election Commission of India is a multi-member body with one Chief Election Commissioner and two commissioners. They are appointed by the President. To help the Election Commission, Chief Electoral Officer appointed in all states. The Election Commission does not maintain many officials to conduct the election. Central and the state government employees are deputed for election duty whenever needed. Elections of the offices of the President, Vice President, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies conducted by the Election Commission of India. A country in election heat submissions of the nomination papers from tomorrow. The second round of training to the officials begin. Lok Sabha elections by mid-April, date to be announced later. Violence in election polling to be held again. Lok Sabha election declared, the code of conduct comes into force. The preliminary voters list for the 16 Lok Sabha election published 6 lakh new voters in the state. State Election Commission. Election to Panchayat and urban local bodies are supervised by the State Election Commission. State Election Commission were constituted in all states through the 73rd and 74th Amendment of the Constitution. Observe the college given. They indicate various activities of Election Commission. Examine them and conduct a discussion in the class regarding the functions of the Election Commission. Functions of Election Commission: supervise the election, prepare voters list, declare the dates of different stage of election, allot election symbols, frame code of conduct, appointment and training of election officials, voting, counting of votes and declaration of results, examine election expenses of candidates. Undesirable tendencies of the Indian electoral system. You have understood the procedure adopted to make the electoral process a free and fair affair. But no electoral system is completely free from limitations. The electoral system of India has certain drawbacks. Influence of money. Voters are influenced by offer of money. Political parties spend large amount of money for election campaign. Election-related violence. Violence on the polling day, bogus voting and both capturing, influence of caste and religion. Caste and religious considerations influence elections of candidates. Lack of representation of women. Women do not get due consideration during the selection of candidates. Poor representation of women in the parliament and legislative assemblies. Electoral reforms. The limitations of the election process make its reforms essential. How can the election process be reformed by solving its drawbacks? Some reform implemented by the Election Commission to correct the election process are given below. Identify card with the voter's photo had been introduced. Limit has been set on the election expenses of candidates. Implemented code to conduct for political parties and candidates. Electronic voting machine (EVM) have been introduced in elections. Publish voters list with photo of the electors. Negative voting system had been introduced. Included the photo of candidates on ballot paper. In India, a negative vote had been introduced which gives opportunity by the voters to reject all the candidates contesting the elections. The electronic voting machine. At the end of the name of the candidate, nota have been included. The voters can press the nota button and cast its negative vote. The photo of the candidate in the ballot paper. Election Commission has decided to include the candidate's photo along with the name and the symbol. As candidate with same name conduct elections and therefore confuse the voters, the decisions was made by the Election Commission. This will help even the illiterate voters to use their right to vote in the right way. Election and political parties. Many political parties are functioning in India. Political parties are an essential element of democratic system. What is meant by a political party? Political parties are organizations formed on the basis of an ideology which work continuously for attaining political power. Main functions are given below. Connect the government and the people, form public opinion, create political awareness, contest elections and the party attains majority of seats from the government. The parties which do not get majority of seats function as responsible opposition. Every political party come out with an election manifesto as part of their campaign. This is a document which states the views of the party in the local, national and international affairs and the program and plans the party would introduce if it come to power. Correct the wrong policies of the government, put forward various policies and programs. In a democratic system, any individual has the freedom to form a political party. Every political party functioning in our country should register with the Election Commission. National parties and state regional parties are functioning in India. The Election Commission has set the criteria for political party to a national or state party. Generally, those parties which function across the nation and have influence in more than one state are called national parties. Political parties which have influence in only one state are called the state parties. There are many political parties functioning in our country which are not able to fulfill the criteria of national and state parties. These parties are called registered parties as they are registered with the Election Commission. If a political party is to be declared as election party, national party, it should have secured at least 6% of the total votes polled in the Lok Sabha election from four or more states. Moreover, it should have won at least four Lok Sabha seats from one or more states. State parties. If a party is to be declared as a state party, it should have secured at least 6% of the total votes polled and two seats in the state legislative assembly. Lok Sabha election announced prominent fronts in great expectation. Delhi, the 16th election to Lok Sabha had been notified. Important coalitions at the centers are approaching the election with great expectation. Examine the news given above. Now many political parties form coalition and contest elections at the center and the state. Let us examine what coalition politics is. On occasion where no political party can get majority in election, parties who can cooperate form coalition fronts based on its common minimum program and contest elections. This is coalition politics. When such coalition fronts win the election and form government, it is a coalition government. Unlike other states, Kerala has brought coalition politics into practice. Way back in 1960, coalition government was established in Kerala. After that, most of the governments which came to power were coalition governments. Coalition governments have become the order of the day both at the center and the states. Psephology. Psephology is the science of predicting election results before the declaration of results after analyzing the possibilities of the political parties and coalition fronts. The results are predicted based on opinion polls, media analysis, interviews, exit polls, and the previous election results. Through predictions, we can understand the public opinion in favor or against the political parties. Election prediction may not be always correct. Election Commission has brought certain restrictions on the prediction of results. You have familiarized the features of the electoral system of India. From the analysis so far, we can assume that an unbiased, independent, and impartial election commission. Elections are regular intervals, universal and franchising, freedom of the people to elect their government have helped to strengthen the Indian democracy. In addition to this, high level of political awareness of the people, ability to take local decisions, and active political participation also help reinforce democracy. Only then democracy will be meaningful. Election and democracy. Types of election. Direct election, simple majority system, indirect election, proportional representation. Election Commission structure and responsibility. Election system drawbacks and reforms, political parties, national parties and state parties, psephology. So that's all about this chapter. If you are interested, please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Okay, thank you.